So stick around, and we will be right back with more speedrunning goodness. All right. Ooh. Might help if I mute it on Discord. And with that, without further ado, we are all set for Day of the Tentacle by ripWSB. Take it away.
All right. Hob, hopefully you can see the game.
Yes, I can.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm ripWSB. This is Day of the Tentacle, and I'm joined by a very familiar voice. If you saw the last run.
Yes, I'm Hobtor. I have a shelf, or maybe the shelf has me. Who knows?
And yeah, if we can just hop right into it. So time will start when we click no to developers commentary. So if we're ready, we'll just count it down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so right away we're skipping some cutscenes, and really setting the stage for this event. Game? Yeah, this is a game. This is a game, not an event. What happened in that cutscene that we skipped is the purple tentacle drank from some toxic sludge and became super smart. You might be asking, who's Purple Tentacle? Well, this is actually a sequel to a game, Maniac Mansion. The tentacles were in that game. And, you know, I actually don't know the full lore. I don't remember if they were aliens or if they were like a construct. I think they were a construct created by the professor who created these chronogons. That's kind of the central mechanic of the game, which allows you to go back in time. Now, in theory, that's how it should work, but what actually happened is your two companions, one goes into the past, one goes into the future, you stayed in the present. Your two companions, their chronogons break immediately. So you're spending the game trying to fix their time travel devices. And you might be wondering, well, how can we help in the present if they're stuck in different timelines? Well, you can still kind of use the chronogons. You can flush items through them. And that's how you can share items between your party members, as it were. And this is the remastered edition of Day of the Tentacle. This was an early 90s game originally released for DOS, but this is an updated modern version that's instead of 4:3 aspect ratio, it's 16:9. It has improved graphics, but it is basically identical to the original game. And in fact, I actually submitted the original game for Speedromizer, but the speed run is essentially the same. So when Rip was starting to learn this game, they asked, what version should I get? And I said, whichever version you can get is fine. The notes are going to be the same. What's only going to be different is some very minor things that, unless you're going for a top time, they're not going to matter. Yeah, so Rip, I hope you've enjoyed learning this game.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, what we're doing here is we're trying to get this sweater. Why are we trying to get this sweater? Well, it turns out we're going to need to make a hamster warm. And you might say, well, that sweater's too big for a hamster. Hamsters are tiny. Well, we're going to need we're going to need to shrink the sweater. And the way we do that is by putting it in the dryer for 200 years. And of course, you're going to need a lot of quarters for that. That's why we got all of those quarters. And I see you're playing it in the German.
Oh yeah, I forgot to switch it back.
Interesting. Are you a German speaker?
No.
No, okay.
Wait, what am I doing? Wrong
So
way.
you want to go to the right. Yeah.
Got distracted by the German.
Oh, there's the hamster. That hamster will be important later. This game, the original game, Maniac Mansion, had multiple ways you could win the game, and it also had lots of red herrings. From a puzzle design standpoint, it was not great. But one of the things you could do in Maniac Mansion was you could microwave a hamster, and that was controversial at the time, and I don't think that has aged particularly well. But in this game, they are alluding to that, but the hamster doesn't die in this game, so it's a little kinder to the hamster. And the original game, Maniac Mansion, is actually in this game. In the room where we picked up the hamster, there is a computer. You can use that computer and you can play the original Maniac Mansion, which is kind of a cool little Easter egg. So this puzzle is a little annoying. Okay, you got it. Good. If you don't get those teeth into that grate, it's kind of a big time loss. You have to like reset the level. So what Rip is doing here is sending items to Hoagie, who is our character stuck in colonial America. And Hoagie's going to use these to get back. So of course what we're doing is we're putting a suggestion that says, George says every house should have a vacuum cleaner in their basement. And by putting that into the suggestion box, the other founding fathers assume that it's George Washington, not somebody from the present day, who's created a flyer to sell vacuum cleaners. Why do we need to do that? Well, in 400 years, it's going to be important that we have a vacuum cleaner in a basement. To get the hamster.
It'll all make
comes
sense.
back to the hamster.
Yeah.
I enjoy that animation quite a bit. Getting the water from the pump and getting it into the bucket. I don't know why, but I find that super satisfying.
Yeah, Hoagie's got some good movement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this guy looks like the professor or the doctor from the present, but it's his great-great-grandfather or great-great-great-grandfather. I'm not sure how many greats it is, but they are related, but not the same person. But they're both inventors, which thankfully we can help ourselves by using their expertise in the sciences. So the professor from the present day has plans for a super battery that will help recharge the Chronojon so that Hoagie and Laverne, we haven't seen Laverne yet, but Hoagie and Laverne can get back to the present. So we're now basically on a fetch quest to get all the items needed so that the professor can create the battery, Red Edison. And we read a book of calculus to a horse so that the horse would take out its teeth, which are made of gold. No, sorry, they're not gold, they're wood. The gold is something else. The gold is the quill. This puzzle I get wrong all the time. I never quite remember how to do it, so good job. It's like a very specific order you have to click on the mattress.
Yeah, that one took me a long time to figure out what exactly I was supposed to do right.
Yeah, because you have to click on the mattress that you don't want to use first, and then click on the mattress you do want to use. So, like, you're trying to convince the cat to leave its mouse toy so you can pick it up. But Hoagie doesn't think to do it until he's used both mattresses to swap the mattresses. So, very confusing puzzle. So you picked up the quill, and you were so fast you skipped a cutscene there, which is great. Love to see it. But normally you would see the founding fathers if you're not fast enough to come back into the room, losing some time. And of course,
ist jetzt seifig.
the German is making me giggle. Of course, we're going to need some lightning to charge up our battery later. And what's the best way to create a storm? We've got to wash our car, right? Like, it always rains after you wash your car. I mean, that's the adventure game logic. Okay, now we're into the dialogue puzzle. George Washington loves to chop cherry trees. By doing that, chopping that cherry tree, Laverne was actually stuck in a tree 400 years into the future, but by cutting the tree down, in colonial America, the tree was no longer there, and Laverne is freed from the tree. Now, unfortunately, the Purple Tentacle's evil plot did come to pass, and Laverne's now in kind of this totalitarian state run by these evil tentacles. So she's going to have to use her wits and the items collected across 400 years to kind of like convince them that she is a tentacle. And now, where is she going to get a tentacle costume? I wonder. We'll find out, but it's probably not the most obvious solution. And I think that's kind of the name of the game here. none of these solutions really make a lot of sense. Yeah. Did you play through this game casually without looking at a strategy guide before?
Nope. I went straight to the speed run.
That makes sense. I think casually, if you're not used to point and click adventure games, I think the amount of time it would take you to beat it is however long it will take you to get frustrated and look up the strategy guide.
Yeah, I wish I had now. Like, I regret not trying. Because some of the stuff just seems so crazy.
Yeah, I do think if you're playing this game casually, it's worth trying it to go through it casually. Like, if any point and click adventure game, I think before trying to speedrun it, I think it is fun to try to play it casually. But, like, this is definitely a hard game, and yeah, there's no shame in looking up the solutions. The solutions don't make any sense. So did you have any sort of lore in your head for why you were doing these things, or are you just like, this is what you do next?
Just completely in the dark, yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
Fred, this is going to be a little complicated. So Fred needs to replace the diamond in his Chronojon device. And diamonds are very expensive. So he needs a lot of money. Fortunately, from the original Maniac Mansion, that was turned into a video game. That's the lore inside of this game, that the original video game was actually a video game made based on the events of what happened previously. And there's some paperwork that Fred needs to sign, basically, to get paid for it. You get that paperwork signed, and you send it back in time so that it gets set, that the money is in the account when you need it. You don't have to wait for it. But he's keeping the contract in a vault. So we looked at camera footage to figure out what the combination to the vault is, but when we were reviewing that footage, the IRS comes and ties him up in their attic for some tax evasion stuff. So we have to bust him out of the attic. Very convoluted. I hope that made some amount of sense. But yeah, Fred is really kind of the villain of the story in a lot of ways. And to wake him up, we pour coffee down his throat. It was a normal thing to do. Now, he won't sign it unless you lie to him about what he's signing. So we tell the contract to get the money. Instead, we told him that it was we were institutionalizing the purple tentacle, and we needed a doctor's signature. But no, in reality, it was the contract so that they would get paid. So we're sending the envelope to Hoagie so Hoagie can mail it. And of course, you know, that makes sense, right? I'm sure that company existed 200 years ago and had the same address. Okay, so we also have in our inventory a diagram of tentacle anatomy. So why don't we give it to Betsy Ross and have her make that into the flag of the United States. That way, there will be a convenient spot we can go to get a costume we can wear and disguise ourselves as a tentacle. Makes sense, right? Again, that is definitely one of those puzzles where I don't think anyone solved that and thought that's what was going to happen. I think people just randomly tried clicking things on everything until it worked. Or they just looked it up. I think most people just looked it up.
Yeah, I think I would have resorted to looking up. I would have resorted to looking up a bunch of stuff if I did try to play through.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of a fetch quest thing to do here. This might be as good a time as any. DJ, if you had anything that you wanted to say, now might be a good time in the run. If not, I'm happy to discuss more of the lore here. So the cat is going to be very useful.
Hey, blödes Tentakel!
I'm going to let people guess how we're going to use that cat. I guess Hoagie still has that?
Yeah. Getting all sorts of out of order now. We're winging it now.
I think you can just send it to Laverne because Laverne has the costume. I don't think you have to go outside. Before, she wasn't free to move around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The hotel. This is a hotel, by the way. I don't know if that wasn't clear.
Sieht aus, als ob da...
And what we did there is we picked up the hamster that Bernard hid in the ice machine.
Jetzt kannst du gehen.
So in this future, humans are kind of like kept as pets, and they have beauty pageants though. So we want to win the beauty pageant because the prize is like this nice dinner, and we're gonna try to bribe the guard who's keeping the other humans prisoner with that dinner to get them out. That's actually pretty decent logic. But we used the fake barf to eliminate our competition. We got a laughing machine from the inflatable clown, and we got the teeth from the horse, and the hair was just some spaghetti. There are definitely meatballs in it. I don't know where they came from. The inventory item was just dry spaghetti. When you put the dry spaghetti through the chronogen, it gets wet though, so in case you're wondering, is the chronogen like a toilet? Apparently it is. Apparently there is some sort of plumbing system. Fortunately in the future, we don't need to create a battery. They have electricity, we just need to plug it in. And there is kind of a funny joke here that we're going to skip over. This guard had been kind of hitting on Laverne, and then you're like, oh, let's go on a date. And the guard's like, actually, no. I know who I want to take, and it's not you. But yeah, so the cat, we didn't use it as a cat. We pretended it was a skunk.
Das sollte ihn auf.
It scared the humans out of their kennel. And what that got rid of was the guard who was guarding the grandfather clock, so we can get back into the basement. Because obviously, you know, entrances to basements are through clocks. That's the traditional way you get into the basement. There we go, we've got it plugged in, but it needs a hamster to power it. Oh, and we skipped a cutscene, the hamster's hidden in the hole, so... Good thing that it's in the Constitution that every home in America has to have a vacuum cleaner.
All coming together now.
Nun?
And the little sweater makes sure that the hamster's warm after defrosting. All makes sense, right? You need one more item
Yep.
from Laverne.
Thank you. I always forget to do that. Oop, go in the clock.
Yeah, so you need gold, oil, vinegar to construct the battery. Now we have the battery. The only thing is it doesn't have a charge, so to charge it, fortunately Benjamin Franklin's here, and there's one thing you know from American history is the kite, right? But he's ready. We've got the kite. We're gonna put the battery in there, and then we're gonna push the kite at the right moment. It's not a hard puzzle, but the timing is a little awkward there.
This one took a while too.
And then Hoagie's is about to pick it up and then stops, and then you still have to pick it up, which is annoying. And you're like, just pick it up. You were going to pick it up. Now it's another click. Okay, so now both chronogens are working. The only thing we're missing is the diamond. But fortunately, bank account has plenty of money, and we can just call the shopping network and pick up a diamond. There was actually a TV ad for the diamond. You do have to like stop and watch the TV ad, but that happened so quickly, didn't have a chance to point it out. But and if you don't watch the TV ad, you don't know what number to call. So that's another spot that I think, when running the speed run, it can be easy to skip. And then you're like, why isn't this working?
I always wondered why we turned on the TV. That makes sense now.
Yep. If you don't do it, then calling that number will do nothing. Yeah, and then here we just have to wait. The shrink ray has a fixed amount of time that you're shrunk for. Yeah, so when they went back through the chronogen, they were turned into this hideous monster. And by the way, we're getting close to time here. We've got, I don't know, 30 seconds maybe? Time is on the final dialogue option. Just kind of enjoy this last moment.
Du immer klein. Warum selbst?
Time. Good game.
Had some weird routing and some mix-ups, but we made it.
Solid run.
Yeah, definitely solid run. Looks like you're
Ihr habt nicht alles gehört.
27 something,
2742.
Wenn die Welt und alle ihre Einwohner mir gehören.
Yeah, thanks so much to Speedromizer. If you have never heard of this marathon before and like the concept of it, you should definitely check it out because it is,
Alles mir.
I think, one of the most interesting and fun things I've seen in regards to speedrunning. Huge shout outs to Hop Tour for helping me out on comms and being here to explain everything that I regretfully skipped in my playthrough. And yeah, if you have anything else you'd like to say.
Just the one final bit of lore here is they are not actually horribly combined into one monster. They are actually just stuck all inside the same set of clothing.
Das war spaßiger
So,
als ein Anzug voller Wiesel.
somehow they don't realize that.
Jetzt seht aber zu, dass ihr aus meinem Haus kommt.
But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you for learning this game. I hope you had fun.
Yeah. It was
Or
Ich habe mich schon dran
all right, so
Vielleicht können wir
fantastic
doch
run.
Schuss
Real
ziehen.
quick on the donation, we got $10 from Shuki T that says, "Thanks for all y'all do. It wouldn't be a marathon otherwise," and that went towards the DuckTales Glitchless. And we will be right back with more speedrunning goodness.